dispatched to evaluate an individual in custody. Prior to us arriving, it was made aware to us that this patient was aggressive and not following commands, resisting arrest, and they had to restrain him in order to subdue him.
Was Mr. Ellis restrained when you first saw him?
He was in handcuffs and I believe hobbled, though my focus more is on his respiratory drive and deciding whether or not he's actually in cardiac arrest at this moment because he had minimal respiratory drive.
And tell us what you mean by that. He had minimal respiratory drive.
His body was not breathing adequately on its own to sustain life. We start with a BVM. We have the restraints removed. We ask officers to remove the restraints. My lieutenant also asked to have them removed. They expressed some concern for safety. We assured them that that was no longer an issue, and we began to render care.
Now, you told us that Mr. Ellis's breathing, you could tell immediately, wasn't sustainable with life.
Correct. It was shallow, irregular. So I gave him a GCS of 3, which is essentially the GCS of a rock, if more or less. So he has no purposeful movements, no purposeful eye movements, and he's not making any sort of sounds or speaking whatsoever.
And can you tell the jury what GCS is?
GCS stands for the Glasgow Coma Scale. It's a scale we use to assess an individual's level of consciousness.
Okay. And so do you do all those things and see that you're not getting any sort of...
Correct. And I'm doing those things while I'm checking for a pulse because as I'm approaching, I'm concerned that this person is in cardiac arrest. So I immediately check for a pulse. He has a pulse. I apply some painful stimuli. There's no response. He's not responding to any verbal communication. He's not making any moves.
Was anyone doing CPR at that time when you came upon the scene?
They were not.
Okay. So he would have been, assuming he was able to breathe on his own, when you came upon the scene, he certainly could breathe through his nose. Is that right?
Correct. In my professional medical opinion, I do not believe that this pit head was inhibiting his ability to breathe.
And so nothing unusual about the presentation of Mr. Ellis, given the information you had when you arrived on the scene?
Correct. The restraint was appropriate for what I believed, or what was told to me.
Have you ever seen Mr. Collins before? Have you ever seen him on scene?
I do not. I apologize.
That's okay. Is it possible that Mr. Collins was the first person that contacted you when you arrived?
I do not know.
Okay. But you do know that the person who contacted you provided you information about Mr. Ellis attacking the vehicle, right?
Yes, I did provide that information. Somebody provided me with that information, and I noted it in my report.
And they also provide you information that Mr. Ellis was combative when they attempted to restrain him, right?
That's correct.
And that he exhibited extreme strength.
That's correct. Very strong is what I put in quotations.
Okay. And the suggestion that you might, in treating Mr. Ellis, be about to encounter someone who's exhibiting excitability.
Correct.
Okay. And that information was given to you from one of the officers that was on scene before meeting Mr. Ellis.
That's correct.
Don't know if it was Officer Collins.
I don't know.
Okay.